So today we're talking about the search for eternal youth, right? From this procedure called Steinached to, believe it or not, the potential of multivitamins.
Yeah, it's like the quest as old as time, isn't it? Always looking for that edge.
Exactly. And this article really dives into some pretty wild attempts and then some surprisingly simple ones.
Right, from like actual surgery to something you can just pick up at any drugstore.
So what's the deal with this Steinach's thing anyway? It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It kind of is, actually. Back in the early 20th century, there was this scientist named Eugen Steinach, and he thought he found a way to, rejuvenate men. And how did he do that exactly?
Basically, he performed a unilateral vasectomy, so tying off one of the tubes that carry sperm.
Wait, so a vasectomy was supposed to, like, make you younger?
That was the idea. Steinach believed it would redirect energy to hormone-producing cells.
Huh. Did it actually work?
Not really, no. It became a fad for a while, but the science just didn't hold up.
So who was even getting this done?
You'd be surprised, actually. Sigmund Freud, W.B. Yeats, even some Indian Maharajas.
Wow, some pretty famous names there. Well, what did they say about it?
Some claimed it boosted their creativity or energy, but it was likely just a placebo effect.
So it was all just hype then?
Pretty much, yeah. The science was flawed, and the results were, well, inconsistent at best.
So what was Steinach's reasoning behind this procedure in the first place?
He thought that by blocking sperm production, the body would redirect energy to the Leydig cells in the tests.
And what do those cells even do?
They produce hormones like testosterone, which are, vital for vitality and all that.
So he was on the right track about hormones then?
Exactly. He correctly identified the importance of hormones, but his method was way off, obviously.
So he found the right engine but was trying to, like, start it with a hammer?
That's a great analogy, actually. He had a good idea, but a pretty flawed execution.
What led to the downfall of Steinach's procedure?
Well, as biochemistry advanced, scientists were able to isolate hormones like testosterone.
So they could just inject hormones instead of, surgery?
Exactly. That made Steinach's operation pretty much obsolete.
And what happened to Steinach himself?
He was targeted by the Nazis and died in exile, feeling, pretty bitter about his work being remembered for this rejuvenation craze.
That's a pretty sad end, actually.
It is, yeah, but his work, paved the way for modern hormone replacement therapy, so.
So Steinach's legacy lives on in HRT then?
Yeah, he was one of the first to suggest that aging is linked to declining hormone levels and that we can, modulate our physical and mental state by adjusting those levels.
That's a pretty big deal, actually.
It is. He was a pioneer in understanding the power of hormones, for sure.
So the article mentions a case study of a coachman. What's that about?
It's about a 43-year-old man who was, exhausted and prematurely old. Steinach performed the procedure on him, and he supposedly recovered.
But the article questions that, right?
Exactly. It points out that the man was likely suffering from malnutrition and PTSD, not just, hormonal decline.
So it wasn't the surgery that helped him?
More likely, it was better nutrition and, recovery from trauma.
So the article draws a parallel between Steinach's procedure and the current AI rejuvenation of legacy companies. What's that about?
It's suggesting that companies are just adding a chatbot and claiming a rejuvenation of spirit while the underlying problems, remain untreated.
So it's a superficial fix then?
Exactly, like tying a knot in their workflows and hoping for a miracle, basically.
So what about the multivitamin part of the title?
That's the surprising twist, right? A recent study showed that taking a daily multivitamin can actually slow biological aging.
Really? How does that even work?
Well, the study found that people who took a multivitamin experienced a slowing of biological aging by, about 4 months over 2 years.
That's pretty significant, actually.
It is, especially for those who already showed signs of accelerated aging.
So a simple multivitamin could be more effective than a surgical procedure?
In terms of slowing aging, it seems so, yeah.
How did they even measure biological age in the study?
They used epigenetic clocks, which are biological markers that measure age-related changes in DNA.
And the multivitamin showed a slowing effect on those clocks?
Yes, specifically on 2 clocks that are linked to mortality and health risks.
That's pretty compelling evidence, I'd say.
It is. It suggests that multivitamins can have a real impact on our health span.
The study also tested cocoa extract. Did that have any effect at all?
No, it didn't show any effect on biological aging markers, unfortunately.
So it's the multivitamin that's making the difference here.
According to this study, yes, definitely.
So what's the big takeaway from all of this?
that the search for eternal youth is ongoing, and sometimes the simplest solutions are, well, the most effective.
From vasectomies to multivitamins, it's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It really shows how our understanding of aging has evolved over time. Yeah.
The article mentions Steinach's rats getting remasculinized. What does that even mean?
It means they were getting a surge of testosterone, which Steinach, correctly identified but incorrectly triggered.
So he was on the right track about the power of hormones then.
Absolutely. He just didn't have the right tools to manipulate them, I guess.
So what's the final verdict on Steinach?
He was a flawed genius who made important contributions to our understanding of hormones and aging, definitely.
And what about the multivitamin study?
It's a promising sign that simple interventions can have a real impact on our health span.